bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RB's created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBs.com. That's the number 4RBs.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees! Save us all!
Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. I hope everybody's had a great week, and thank you for joining myself, Tolly, and Morgana as we cover some news and whatnot.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
There you go. Whatnot's very good.
Yep.
Very good.
But I was going to save it, but I've been holding you guys in suspense for a couple days. The other night, we went to our watering hole where we get water from. And we get like 20, 25 gallons a week of water, natural water to drink and whatnot.
What's up, Landa?
And it's out in the middle of the woods. So I was sitting there, and on the second jug, I caught a glimpse of something like a gray thing in the corner of my eye. And I looked, and it looked like it scurried off, but I was like, well, that could be the lights from the car because the lights were facing me. It was dark, so I had the lights on the watering. So I went out to get the third jug, and then I heard a tree snap like that. And that kind of spooked me. And about 3 seconds later, I heard a rock smack the cliff wall on the opposite side of the road and fall down. That freaked me out. So I wanted Steven to be here. That, I think, is the closest thing to something weird that might be related to Bigfoot I've ever seen.
I'm sure he'll be here after a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? It is weird because nobody's out there.
Yeah, that one's crazy. I feel like, because there are no people out there. And animals aren't going to just sit around. I mean, they're more apt to run off when people are around. So it's like something trying to get your attention or trying to run you off.
Well, I packed up the last jug and I was like, well, let's go ahead and drive out. I didn't tell Mandy anything till we was about 5 miles out there. So did you notice what happened back there? Because she's sitting in the car the whole time, it was a little too cold for her bones. But she's like, no, what happened? And I told her, she's like, that's weird. And I was like, we can't go back after that anymore.
Hey, yes, go back and make sure you've got her in the phone in the car with the phone going.
I need to make sure she's the one getting in and out of the car.
That's
Right?
true. She might have not have been the one that came home.
Oh, that would be just too crazy. So, hey, look what I got today.
Oh, nice.
EMF reader.
Yeah.
I like those better than the digital ones, I've decided.
Well, you told me this is actually the one you recommended. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing it because, Mo and I keep wish lists. That's how we pick out each other's Christmas because both of us are notorious for just buying something if we want it.
What's up, Crystal?
Hi to the crew. What's up, Jenny, Linda, Crystal?
So what we do is we both keep an Amazon wish list. And that's been on there for 6-8 months. And I'm like, yeah, he's not going to buy me that. He'll buy me rocks and he'll buy me crystals and anything. But yeah, he's not going to get me that. So I went ahead and
nice.
jumped in.
Got it yourself.
Yes.
I need to get one of those because Tully's right. Those are better than the digital ones, and I got a digital one. It sucks.
Yeah, mine's
And I've
digital
even
too.
got like an app on my phone, and I just don't trust it.
I'll tell you what I hate about the digital one that I have. It turns off every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It has an auto off. I do have one on my phone, a spirit box that I have had weird things happen like in tandem with EMF,
Uh-huh.
and I paid for it at the time. I think it was like $5, and it's
Mhm.
called the OVNI. Hang on,
I'm eyeballing a nice spirit box right now, and I'm trying to build a piece of equipment out of an old tablet I have in an old Connect, but I'm having trouble with it.
It's OV as in Victor, IBOX.
iBox,
OV box.
Avbox,
OV. I'll put it in the chat.
Avbox. Of boxes is what you mean. I got some pretty slick dowsing rods.
Cool.
You can see the lady on TikTok that asks all the crazy questions with the dowsing rods. Have you seen her?
Yeah. When I get this one piece of equipment set up properly, it's going to be unmatched. It's an old Xbox Connect and a tablet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to figure out how to properly set it up. I'm having a little trouble. I might bring it up there and let Jeremy do it. But anyway, let's go ahead and see how it's going in Venezuela.
Ooh.
Yeah, can you cue that video up too for when we want to play it? There's a video below the picture.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Venezuela last week, and I think it was still pretty new, and people hadn't heard much on it. So there's been some escalations and just some facts and stuff like that I threw in here, just as general knowledge. But tensions have been rising between us and Venezuela sharply this week, and it's mainly driven by the fact that we seized a massive oil tanker, and there's been a broader campaign to choke off the Maduro regime, which I think the U.S. currently has a hit out on him. But on December the 10th, so 2 days ago, U.S. military and Coast Guard forces conducted a helicopter assault in international waters with commandos rappelling onto the 332-meter super tanker. The vessel was carrying roughly 1.9 million barrels of Russian crude loaded from state-owned PDVSA and believed to be heading to Cuba in violation of sanctions. That's handy.
Mm-hmm.
The president confirmed the operations, calling it the largest sanctions enforcement seizure ever, and linking it to Venezuela's role in drug trafficking, gang migration into the U.S., and systemic evasion of oil sanctions. Caracas reacted furiously, with Maduro labeling the boarding international piracy and a kidnapping of the crew while vowing retaliation. The tanker is now being escorted to Galveston, Texas, where the U.S. plans to forfeit the cargo, but has said that the crew will be free to leave. This is only one piece of the super aggressive assault, though. Thanks, Try. Appreciate that.
What's up, Larry?
If you don't follow us on Kick, follow us there too. But I forgot to turn on the comments so you can see comments everywhere. Hang on. We'll get that going too, because I know there's not a ton of people that watch on Kick. Turn it on, make it tall.
That's what she said.
Yeah, there you go. What's up, Larry?
But
Hey, Larry.
So this is only one. The tanker seizure is only one piece of the puzzle here. We have deployed additional naval assets to the Caribbean and carried out airstrikes on suspected narco vessels. I'm sure you've seen stuff around that. The videos. On December 11th, we announced new sanctions on 6 more Venezuelan-linked super tankers, their operating companies, and 3 nephews of Maduro's wife officials have made it clear further seizures are likely as they target the entire shadow fleet, which is what they're calling it, that keeps Venezuela's oil flowing to buyers in Asia and elsewhere. Meanwhile, prominent opposition leader, so basically the opposition to the president. So, like if we were having a presidential election here, it'd be like Democrat versus Republican is the equivalent here.
I think Tully's ancestors' accent almost came out right then. You in opposition, like a German.
It could have. Well, I also have a Zen in, so that could be causing some of the disparity here. I lost my place.
I'm bad. Sorry, I had to say.
You're good. You're good.
Meanwhile, prominent opposition leader.
There we go. So her name is Maria Corina Machado, and she'd been hiding in Venezuela for months, suddenly appeared abroad this week. So the thought is here that they seized this big ass tanker to smokescreen her escape from the country.
Yeah.
So that you've got the opposition leader out of the country. So let's see. She praised the sanctions, by the way, as decisive and reiterated her intent to return home, regardless of Maduro's fate. Her extraction, along with the earlier negotiated exile of presidential claimant Edmundo Gonzalez, highlights both the opposition's continued coordination with the Western governments. So, I mean, it feels very like similar, I guess, to Syria and Egypt and all these other places where destabilizations happen. Not to say that this dude that's in power is cool, because he's not. He's done some pretty terrible things from what I understand. But also there's layers to this. So there's reasons, in my opinion, that we want to be there. You think about the national debt that we have currently. Cecil always pulls up the counter, and it looks very doomsday-ish. So I get to thinking, like, what could be other reasons that we would want to be in Venezuela? Oil. So I was unaware of this, but apparently Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, more than Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And they're in our hemisphere. So they're not going to get, in my opinion, they wouldn't get the backup like if you were to go to war with an Iran or someone like that in the Middle East. But they, at the current prices, I've extrapolated it. Crude oil is about $70 a barrel. So the total ground value of the reserves that Venezuela has is 21.2 trillion American dollars.
Yeah, they need some freedom injected. I mean, what up, Wolf man?
Hey,
But
a lot of people are drawing parallels to Iraq, which is what the video is about that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Anytime that we find a country that has excess of oil, they need liberated. So let's go ahead and check this out.
A country. He's a threat to our way of life. He needs to go.
Maduro is an existential threat to the people of the United States.
It is time for Maduro to go.
Additionally, taking fire from our western flank.
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we can do things the easy way, that's fine. And if we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
We can get rid of Saddam. It could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom can serve as a
Beacon of hope.
Shock.
Cannot.
Who's shooting behind us?
Yeah, that's true, Crystal. There is a sizable amount of gold in Venezuela as well.
Oh, yeah. A lot. Yeah.
And I'm sure a bunch of it's a strategic spot to be in too, geopolitically, and it's not helping anything that they've seemed to align themselves with places like Iran and Russia and that whole clan.
You know, and I want to say this, and this is not. Let me preface it with, this is not political per se, but my question is too, you know, I keep seeing them bomb all of these boats, but what proof is there that these are drug runners and not fishermen?
Well,
I'm not saying that they shouldn't, like, you know, board them, climb on, you know, whatever. But I think we're assuming a lot, you know, especially when they tell them to shoot again because there were survivors. You know?
Yeah. Well, and I think that somebody is going to have to answer for that, for from what I'm understanding, the double tapping situation. It sounds like they're going to have hearings at least on them double tapping people who were like, they were bombing people that were drowning from what it looked like.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
no,
yeah.
But you know, and that's the thing, like I said, you know, that there's definitely, you know, if there's a way to stop drugs, stop cartels and all that, absolutely, I can get behind that. But, you know, by the same token, you know, we let, you know, people who harm children just get a slap on the wrist.
Well, if it were any logical person and you had any administration, that was interested in stopping the cartel, I think the first question would be, what agency involvement do we have currently with any cartel connections?
Yeah, that would probably be the best place to start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, which one of our agencies is still funding and pushing out people to go and start these new cartels to these communities?
It's like, and you can do your own research on this, but it's like I said, the cartel that they're talking about is the cartel of the sun, and there's fierce debate on whether it's real or not.
Yeah, I've been reading on that this week because you had mentioned last week that they were like a big conspiracy almost. And that's a very good description because it's like, well, it's not really a group, it's a thought, you know, and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's a state of mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, what are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
What are you talking about?
The last I checked, states of minds didn't do a whole lot of damage on their own.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like they're almost setting it up to where anybody could be a cartel member. You know what I mean? Kind of like they didn't have a word for like the people we were fighting overseas. They were called insurgents.
Terrorists.
Yeah, there's a comedian. He's like, they don't have a uniform. Like, so how do you know who it is? You know?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I hope it doesn't come to this, but I feel like it might be a similar situation down south. But I agree, there has to be a way to stop this fentanyl from coming in across somehow. But to do that, you do have to stricken things up. You know.
Yeah, we got agency problems bad, and black operations where tax money is being consumed on very sketchy things across the globe. I think that needs to be addressed. It would not surprise me if some cartel leaders were assets.
I was going to say funding this.
Well, no, that and assets, like literal having handlers that are in agencies is what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes down to that, the biggest problem, there used to be a saying that I'm not going to say anymore because I know it's not correct, but we used to say a lot. There's too many people in charge and not enough people working. You know what I mean? Like there's too many. Like I'm in charge of this.
Yeah.
Too many executives and not enough workers.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
There's actually two trades like that, Wolfman, that I feel that way about. And I say trades because these are multi-billion dollar, if not trillion-dollar industries. That's cartels, probably $1 trillion industry.
Oh yeah.
And then human trafficking.
Oh yeah.
And you will never be able to convince me that we as a civilization don't have a huge problem with both of those things.
Yep.
I mean, I have a family member, like immediate family member, that was almost trafficked in the 80s. And if that's happened back then, it's only gotten worse. And knows it has. And like we constantly have kids disappearing around here, and I hope that's not what happening. But
if you look at how many just children go missing a year, it's like 1 million. Globally, it's like in the millions or something crazy. And where are all the people going?
Where are all the people going?
Last year, in 2023, 563,000 children went missing in the U.S.
Yeah.
And that's not including big places like China.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the same problem. It's not like remiss from like the global conversation of this, of like, where's everybody going? Because it's not just children either. That statistic is, but you're talking about millions of people that are going missing every year. Nobody knows where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start hearing things about like they have these islands where people are being hunted for sport.
Mm-hmm.
I think we covered that a couple of weeks ago. Like,
well, and I think one thing a lot of people tend to miss also is the fact that when you say trafficking, it's not always about sexual trafficking.
Yeah,
there are people that are literally, there are organ traffickers. There are people who basically for slave labor.
Yeah,
there was
and everything.
There was an organization stateside too that was uncovered for having a menu that was supposed to be a joke,
mm-hmm.
but the menu was for human.
Mm-hmm.
And with how many people are going missing, I mean, where else could it be going?
What was the Yelp review?
Rich people were eating there.
Yeah, the same people that were eating mermaids.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. Like people tie things like that into it, and I feel, and you know me, I'm slightly off the rocker. I believe that people probably eat mermaids, but they tie that stuff into this stuff to discredit,
make it sound unbelievable.
Yeah, to discredit the other stuff. And I shouldn't even brought it up, but you know me.
And then you get people on the hot mic saying that, like the slop that you were getting at restaurants contains human meat.
Yeah.
And I know you've heard the audio that I'm talking about where the dude's like, yeah, it's people.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's one that threw me, as I'm looking at these stats, like I said, 460,000 a year is the annual average in the US. In India, it's 100,000. The UK is 113,000.
Think about how much less people the UK has than
India. I
know.
That's my point. That's a big number.
I think they don't have the infrastructure.
Maybe that's it.
Which
it's only 45,000 in Canada, which is still a huge number, but Canada's huge.
It's a good segue into Amazon pledging $35 billion investments in India this week.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I see it.
So
I'll grab it. So their $35 billion investment pledge in India by 2030 stands in stark contrast to its workforce reductions in the U.S. over the past year. And that's highlighting a classic case of global resource reallocation and cost-cutting pressures. While the India commitment announced on December 10th at the Amazon SMB HAV Summit focuses on fueling expansion in e-commerce, cloud infrastructure, and AI, aiming to create 1 million new jobs there, bringing total support roles to 3.8 million. The company has simultaneously trimmed its U.S. headcount by approximately 21,500 from December of 24 to December of 25. That includes 7,500 layoffs in early 2024, primarily in units like Buy with Amazon, AWS sales and marketing and advertising, and a much larger wave of 14,000 corporate job cuts that were announced in October, affecting engineers, managers, scientists, and recruiters across divisions such as AWS, retail, and HR. These U.S. reductions represent about 4% of Amazon's 350,000 strong corporate workforce, driven by CEO Andy Jassy's push for AI-driven efficiency, reduced management layers, and post-pandemic adjustments, even as the company reports record profits and a $720 billion annual revenue run rate. So the disparity underscores broader tensions in big tech's globalization strategy, pouring billions into high growth emerging markets like India to capture a 1.4 billion person consumer base, amplify made in India exports, targeting 80 billion via Amazon platforms while streamlining domestic operations to prioritize profitability over headcount. U.S. layoffs concentrated in high-cost states like Washington, California, and New York have drawn criticism for exacerbating Silicon Valley's job market woes, contributing to over 122,000 tech cuts industry-wide in 2025, despite Amazon's assurances of prioritizing affected workers for new roles in growth areas. In India, the investment signal optimism, which initiatives like AI training for entrepreneurs and expanded fulfillment centers poised to boost local employment without the same efficiency-driven pruning. The approach risks fueling debates on economic equity as U.S. workers face uncertainty amid a permanent shift towards leaner teams, while India's ecosystem gets a massive influx to drive Amazon's next phase of dominance. And that is huge.
What do you think about that?
They're preparing for the AI transition of everything. That's what they're doing there. And like, we know from working in this line of business that, contact center stuff is way cheaper
in India
over there.
Well, did you see that they have AI now that, this can sound bad. They have AI that trims people's accents. So if you have a really thick American accent and you're trying to speak Spanish, there's an AI now that will correct your accent in real time to make it sound more
like you're talking to a local.
Yeah.
I need that for English. I
think you combo that with these million jobs that they're creating probably equates those $15,000 or 15,000 American corporate jobs in dollars.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
That's the reason that they're making a move. I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of their businesses move over there.
That's why I was asking. Because here's how I feel, and I wanted to see like what you think. So if you keep robbing us to pay Paul, and you don't have any people making money here,
who's going to buy it?
We obviously are the premium buyers of these products, even with places like Uber. I saw in China, this lady got an Uber ride. It was 30 minutes, a 30-minute Uber ride, and it cost her $2.50 American. And if you get an Uber ride here for 30 minutes, it's like 60, 70 bucks probably, because we're the premium market for these places. So if you keep going cheap, and we just need things as cheap as humanly possible, and where can we find the human slaves in today's world? Eventually you're going to have a base population of people with no money left to buy your premium products because you phased out all the good jobs. And not to say that anybody in any other country can't do a good job, but you're obviously taking advantage of those people. You're not paying them the same.
No, not at all.
Well, and the thing is, even here, they keep talking about trying to get rid of the minimum wage because it gives, employers more, room to work. And that's bullshit. That just means they're going to pay people cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, so like I said, we know it. We see it happening. And, then you turn right back around and, like I said, they want to get rid of minimum wage. They want to, regulate so many worker safety options. Well, over there, they've already got all of this. Worker safety is not a thing.
Yeah, you can work them. People sleep in the factories.
Oh, yeah, you can work kids. I know my phone probably had a 10-year-old working on it at one point. That's.
And I'm sure it's a situation where it's like, okay, now no kids allowed, but we can't control what this person does in their free time. Wink, wink. And so one person makes, $200,000 with the expectation that they farm out 180 of that to kids or whatever for employment
that make $1 a week.
Yeah,
and
something like that. I mean, it's went on for years. My biggest fear right now, because
it is classism, Jenny.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
absolutely true.
And my biggest fear right now with the way that everything is, minimum wage did not follow the path it should have took.
No.
And I just don't see a way back to get it streamlined. Somebody that was in control of keeping the economy flush dropped the ball.
So there was a conversation this week with a 90-year-old man.
Yeah.
He got his bachelor's degree for $600.
Yeah, exactly. What is that now? 300?
Well, I mean, it's
1,000?
No, $600 is probably really affordable in today's money. Actually,
No,
90
no.
years ago.
I mean, how much does it cost in today's money to get a bachelor's degree?
Conservatively, $30,000.
Oh, okay. That ain't too. I thought it'd be like 300 G's.
Well,
I did
the
college.
thing about it is, though, back in the 80s, I mean, so that's, okay, it's way longer than I want it to be, but we're going to say it wasn't that.
It's also like community college, Cecil. Like that. That's not like
Right.
EKU.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s, a kid could work a summer job and pay for a semester of college.
Yeah.
And that includes books and everything. A kid now has to work just to survive. And that's if their parents are helping and they're taking out loans and they're getting grants and scholarships and everything else.
Well, it's wild. Like, I don't want to be this person, but I don't have a college degree. I barely got a high school degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I've, in my history, have worked side by side with people who had fancy degrees that they paid $100,000 for.
Yeah.
Doing the exact same thing I'm doing.
It's because our generation was promised that as long as you have that piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have maximum earning, and that's just not true.
No, it's not.
Without
Trade.
specialized degrees.
Yeah. The trade is where it's at now.
Well, and I really think that that's something that we should start focusing more on. When I was in college, early 90s, we still had a Votex center. They taught people, HVAC. They taught, electricians, and stuff like that. And you're seeing less and less. I know my prior manager asked me one day, he goes, look, used to, I could call up to the local college and say, I need a graphic designer. Do you have anybody graduating? And they'd send me 3 or 4 people to interview. The same thing with the press operators. I need an apprentice. Oh, yeah, we've got some of those. He goes, I can't do that anymore. I'm like, because nobody's offering those classes anymore. When I learned graphic design, we also learned what was involved in the printing side of it, the actual production side of it. So my mind is way different than the kid I hired 2 weeks ago that's fresh out of college. He was taught, I'm going to make things pretty and that's going to be my job. Well, I don't think that starving and artists have to be synonymous. I think I can be artistic and still make a living.
And the thing is, like, if you got kids out there right now, I would push them to get a good trade, like plumber, electrician, or something. I wish I would have started a career in plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rich.
Yeah.
Don't care
My
to
little
go-
brother, right out of high school, went into the HVAC stuff, and he did it for about 6 months. And of course, he was 18 and knew everything, so he quit. And he'll tell you right now, that was the dumbest thing I ever did, was walking away from that.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is making my nephew grab up pieces of poo and hold them, and I'm like, you need to become a plumber and specialize in septic tanks.
Mm-hmm.
If I had it to do over again, I would have spent I would have went straight into like offshore rigging instead of college.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if you could have, because you got to have your best years for that.
Yeah.
But if you could have spent like 18 to 25 offshore, you'd be set forever.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a sweet job chilling out and telling people what to do on the rig 6 months a year and come home for.
That's right.
I mean, what a job anyway. You get to be gone, but then be home for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do that right now. If
the thing is, the reason Mo and I get along so well.
I'd leave tomorrow. Like if they offered me, I'd be like, let's go.
Yeah, because it's also isn't it tax free? Because it's off. It's as long as it's offshore. No,
Yeah, it's not tax free.
But
what
you
am I
don't
thinking
spend-
of?
You don't spend any money while you're there, though.
Yes, I'm thinking of cruises
Yeah.
being tax free.
But the reason that Mo and I get along so well is because he's driven a truck since the day we met. And that's the truth, because we never have time for fighting.
Absent makes the heart grow fonder.
It definitely does not hurt. When he's home more than about 3 days, I'm ready to push him on out because he messes up our routine. Even the dogs don't listen when Dad's home. So.
That it would have been a tough 10 years, but if you could have done that for 10 years and got out or moved up, you'd have been set for the rest of your life.
What's so sad about that is we was built for that when we were young men.
Well, I mean, I had a great childhood. I don't know about you. We had it was a fun time.
Yeah, but I mean, we were built to be old men. Like we were big, strong. We should have done.
What do they call it? Corn-fed boys, or something like that.
But
now
did you see? It's been a few weeks ago. I thought I saw where Zuckerberg is completely pulled out of all of his AI super things that he was supposed to do. After hiring all of these big tech people from other companies,
they're all bowing down to Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've kept up with this whole Netflix Warner Brother, or what is it, Time Warner Netflix merger.
Netflix has bought everything. They bought HBO Max.
Netflix is acting like this is a done deal.
Yeah.
But Skydance, which is Ellison's company that bought TikTok, and they already own like Discovery, maybe, or they own one of them.
Yeah, Discovery. I remember seeing that this week.
And there's a war between Ellison's company and Netflix, and people are saying, because Ellison is also very good. He is. I don't think he himself is Israeli, but he's personal friends with their president, and he was eluding, because obviously our current leader isn't that big of a fan of like CNN, and Ellison is throwing out that as a whiffum of being like, if we bought Time Warner or whatever it is, Warner Brothers, that we could redo CNN in a fair image and keep them from,
fair. What
whatever.
the hell is that? From either side, what the hell is fair news anymore?
Well, who was it? There was the law that we just talked about this the other week, where
they got rid of.
They got rid of the law where media wasn't allowed to lie. I'm looking at the comment here.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, some degrees hold tight.
Some are a scam, though.
The fairness doctrine.
So
it was established in 1949, and then it was repealed partially in 87. And now there is nothing.
I think that's think about CNN and Fox. Those are the two big ones. When we were kids, people weren't nearly as inflamed as they are these days politically.
No. Like I said, fake news when I was a kid was the National Enquirer.
I loved
it. Oh no, I read it every damn time I got my hands on one because it had all the aliens and stuff in it.
If you think about the National Enquirer, when I was a kid, I read it, and a lot of the stuff in there might not be so fake.
Well, that's what I mean. I read the hell out of it. And that's the thing. I'm actually probably going to trust it more these days than I would news.
So since you brought up Zuckerberg, I'll hit this one thing before we break. But so I titled this "One AI Conglomerate to Rule Them All." And this includes Zuckerberg. Everybody's bowing down. And this week, the president signed an order titled "One Rule for American AI Leadership," fundamentally reshaping the regulatory landscape for AI by preempting state-level laws and centralizing oversight under a single streamlined federal framework. The order directs the Department of Justice to establish AI litigation task force tasked with challenging onerous state regulations in court, while empowering the FTC to hold funding from non-compliant states and evaluate AI policies under antitrust lenses. Critics, including state attorney generals and civil liberties groups, warn that it could dismantle emerging protections on AI bias, deepfakes, data privacy in places like California and New York, potentially exposing consumers to unchecked innovation from big tech. Proponents hail it as a bold move to secure U.S. supremacy in the global AI race, arguing that a patchwork of 50 state rules would stifle investment and innovation, with the president declaring during the signing that without uniformity, AI will be destroyed in its infancy. The directive builds on a July 2025 order curbing woke AI in federal systems, but escalates by imposing a national rule book. The deregulatory thrust aligns closely with the president's long-standing ties to the Ellison family, whose patriarch Larry Ellison has been a key ally and mega donor, personal friend of Benjamin Netanyahu since the 2016 campaign, contributing millions to political efforts and advising on tech policy. Larry is the Oracle co-founder. He also owns TikTok now, him and his son, and one of the world's richest individuals, has joined the president at high-profile events and lobbied directly on TikTok. And he reportedly promised the president sweeping changes at places like CNN, and it was through, let's see, I'm like reading through this before I'm reading it out loud. We just talked about all that with the whole media conglomeration. So, you know, there's other people who are equal to Ellison in wealth, like Bezos, Elon, Murdoch's, Redstones. And it was actually the Redstones that sold, I believe, that media conglomerate to Ellison to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see how this evolves, because even Disney's bowing down. Like I had a little article in here about Disney announcing a landmark partnership with OpenAI. And this is after. So initially, when Sora came out, people were making crazy like movie clips and Disney clips, and Disney's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And now they're it's like almost like shut up money. Like, you know, get out of our faces with.
Well, I like this 180 of, oh no, we're going to take down this and we're going to quit doing that and let the states handle it. But now here we are. Okay, no, we're not going to let the states handle this. We're going to take it and regulate it. And that's just, to me, one more way to suppress free speech
globally. Globally. I wish I could show you this video. So in China, they did another demo of an Android this week, and it was so real that people accused them of it being somebody in a suit, because it looked like Power Ranger. And to disprove it, they had it walk back out on stage, and they started dismantling it in real time.
Wow.
And this thing moved like legit, like a human being. No distinction.
I'm not going to have any impressed thoughts about an AI robot until I see one moonwalk properly.
I don't know. I would be pretty impressed if they started sending them out on the battlefields. You know what I mean?
If they can't dance like MJ, I don't want one. Like a fact.
I love it. Oh, shoot.
But anyway, what are we talking about at the top of the hour?
Free for all.
Free for all.
Free for all.
Free for all.
Free for all. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and put up a classic here for you all to watch during intermission. Let me find it. I've got one pulled up somewhere. Let me get rid of all these windows. Actually, just joking.
You want me to start one?
Yeah, go ahead and start one because I've completely closed it out. And come back at the top of the hour where we'll be having a free for all, where we'll be talking a bunch of nonsense, and we love for you all to be there when we do it. And whoop whoop, see you all in a little bit.
The real events, whatever they were, have been morphed into various things by the cultures and civilizations that followed, but they did happen. In Saudi Arabia, when it was, before it was widely populated like this, one of 200 angels, beings from the parallel universe around us, descended into Mount Hermon in Syria, Western Syria. And they went down into what is now Israel and populated that. And they also went down along the Gulf of, we used to call it the Persian Gulf. It's the Gulf of the Arab Gulf now, kind of like the Gulf of America now, different names. Anyway, they came in, and these are super beings with genetic structure that is definitely above our own, further progressed. And they went to South America, they went to North America, they went to China, they went to Africa, and possibly some islands. Now, these 200 angels formed into group leaderships of other angels like them that were cast down. Boy, there's so much parallel rabbit holes to this. Anyway, the leader of the angelic group, the fallen ones in the rebellion against the Creator, landed in Saudi Arabia. And the leader of the group was called Poseidon by Greek legend names and things like that. And you'll understand with that statement why the Greeks built the Decapolis cities. There are more than 10 of them in Israel and Syria and around the area there. These were to honor the gods, quote unquote gods, demigods, who were these fallen ones with superpowers. Heracles was from the mountains of the Lebanon. The one-eyed giant, I forget his name, that ate people. Well, he was from another province there, but one of these created beings that the fallen ones did by merging human DNA with their own DNA and then altering the DNA like we're doing now. I mean, some stupid guys at the moment are in a lab with some recovered woolly mammoth DNA, and they are trying to make a new mammoth in this time. Now, because of their ignorance of the history of the earth and the geology of it, I mean the actual history, they're building a creature. If they could get it to live, it won't live long because it was built for an environment that had 60% higher gravity, an environment that had a huge oxygen concentration in the atmosphere. All these things, it won't work in our current geological situation. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. But back to Saudi Arabia and to the fallen ones. Now, Poseidon built his home on an island off the coast of Saudi Arabia in what is the Gulf of the Arabian Gulf now, the Persian Gulf. And there was a city called Dammam, a little island like that. You can see it in some of the. I'll see if I can find the photographs in a minute. An astronaut took a photograph from orbit in 3D of the whole Middle East region with LiDAR to find hills and valleys and that kind of stuff, and it shows you a perfect circle mound on that island of Dammam, which is where they said that Poseidon built his castle for his human wife, Cleito, and for her comfort, he drilled 2 holes down into the bottom of the island, one for hot water, one for fresh water, cool water. And I found at an oil company the geology study that they did of showing the layers underneath Dammam Island. In fact, underneath the whole Middle East. And Dammam Island is the only one where hot water has come up from the lower levels up to one side of the island. And over here at a different level came the cool water from the rainfall. And that's how he was able to have hot and cold water there. It fits the legend. And I actually got to talk to the astronaut about this, and he says, "Well, I don't know if that proves Atlantis, but he says, yeah, that's a very interesting geological area and a phenomenon like that." Anyway, coming back to genes and to hybrids, when the Atlanteans, which were the Poseidon, the fallen ones in his group, remember there are other groups in South America.
Were they, like, as far as the different groups go, do you know if any of them were ever at war with each other during that?
Yeah, there was one at war in India. You can get this from the Vedic records. There was one god that had his home on an island offshore of northwestern India, I think it is now. And I was watching a documentary where they discovered this missing city of such and such. I can't remember the Indian name. Off the coast there, there was legends in India it was there. The divers and people found it, and that's where that god had his home. But he had a war with other gods, which went back towards Iran. And I looked at the battleground. Part of the battleground was around the Indus River, where the two cities I told you about, Mohenjo-daro and Harappas, still exist today as archaeological finds. One of the strange features in both is that the dead bodies, the skeletons, were all laying flat with their head facing in the same direction. Okay. And the pottery of the age was fused from a nuclear blast.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
And the Indian legends talk about big weapons and, big fire and all that kind of junk. And
so this wasn't like swords and shields. This is like
high tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
like like Nephilim or whatever you want to call it, fallen technology.
Yeah, definitely. You just have to open your mind and step outside the box that they put us in education and say, well, wait a minute, are there other ways to explain these things? And if so, let's prove it. And the Vedic records are just, boy, they're unlocking a lot of stuff when you get into that with this mindset and spread out. The Prime Minister of India, about 5 years ago, I think it was, came out and said that they are now confirming from their scientists that the DNA pattern for the high caste in India comes from Ethiopia. They have Ethiopian DNA, which is, when Cain and them came over, they brought DNA from North Africa into India. And then the asteroid hit and split Pangea, all the continents were together. It split, pushed India up into China, pushed Africa and Saudi Arabia over this way, and pushed India over that way, and Australia down and over there somewhere. This impact was massive. And, I've been telling people this is, I found what caused the Great Flood. And I located it by looking at the stress lines on the bottom of the ocean and using data that was given to me by a company over in California that do stuff with Google. And they had remapped the bottoms of the oceans. And I was able to see in there where that asteroid impacted. And I put it on my various graphs and things. And last month, I think there was an announcement made that they think they have found the asteroid, an asteroid, in the Indian Ocean that caused, great separation of continents and things like that. They're catching up.
Yeah, but, that's what we're doing. Because when you showed us that, like, it could, like, after you showed us that the last time you were on Google Earth, I can't think it would be anything else.
Yeah. You don't have to be a physicist to see that, or a geologist. I mean, just a kid can say, yeah, something moved these apart. And there's where it started. So, anyway, back to Saudi Arabia. What they were doing was altering DNA with, probably Neanderthal and various other human DNA strings, and some of the Adam and Eve type, the Adamic streams. They were trying to alter those in their DNA.
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision, so you can say goodbye to your optometrist for good.
to create their own race, for their own population to go back and fight, in the parallel universe. There really is a war in progress now that's been going for long before mankind existed, and it's coming to a close in the near future. Probably 1,000 years from now, it'll be finished. Reports from the Sumerian records about the gods coming down to visit. Reports from the Bible.
But there's more! The bees are dying, and our survival depends on them. That's why 4RB's created the Pure Wave Cell, a breakthrough quantum device proven to help hives thrive, doubling colonies and boosting honey production naturally. Every jar of our Pure Wave honey fuels this mission, supporting beekeepers worldwide. Visit 4RBs.com. That's the number 4RBs.com, and use code WITF for 20% off. Save the bees! Save us all!
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. This is our Strange Frequencies part of our Friday night lineup. Hope everybody's doing good tonight, and thanks so much for coming back to join us. So tonight, we are having a free-for-all. We'll be talking about several cool, interesting things.
We scared Landa's dog.
I'm sorry, Landa. Give him big hugs.
I walked into the living room and I got Mandy this thing that projects a galaxy on the ceiling and it's like waving and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I shit you not, she's laying on the couch looking up at it. The dog, my big dog's laying in the floor, and my little dog's laying on her back on the chair. So they're in there. That's all three zen as can be.
That's awesome.
Listening to Pearl Jam.
That was a very good gift idea there for you, Cecil. Good job. Good job.
Listen to Eddie Bedwetter. Before we get started, Mandy has got this need to move out of Kentucky. And she's picked all these locations. She's like, we should move here. We should move there. I finally found one. And I want your all's opinion on this. It's 10,000 square feet. 10,000 square feet. It's an old storefront on a main street in a particular state. So I send her this. It's within the budget. It's like $82,000. And I send it to her and she's like, no. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, I don't want to live in Kansas. And so what would you all think? Do you think Kansas is not worth living in?
Tornado Alley.
I wouldn't move to Kansas.
No.
It's got a basement.
No.
The highlight of your year would be going and hunting the big Kansas whitetails.
Yep.
You could probably lease your property out to hunters.
Yeah, and well, it don't come with any property. It's on an
Shelby.
old main street. It's an old store in the main street.
Hey, what's up, Shelby?
It's 10,000 square
Hey,
feet.
Shelby, Stevie, Teach.
I looked up the population of the town it's in, and there's 437 people. I was like, this is fucking perfect.
See, I could get behind that particular part, but I know Kansas is not somewhere I want to live.
See,
It's Kansas.
Yeah. Cecil, whenever you were talking about it, it's within the budget. I was thinking of like some of these, these shows that you see on TV where the people are house hunting and stuff like that. She works part-time. He works as a substitute teacher, and their budget is $850,000 or something.
Right?
When I say within budget, I mean if we're able to sell this place.
Yeah. You don't want to move. You don't want to move to York, Kansas.
Well, that's
check out Arkansas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Much more better people in Arkansas.
And there are some mountains which you're used to already.
They talk like us.
Yeah.
The alternative is New Orleans or Michigan.
Oh,
They don't talk like us.
no.
Michigan?
Michigan.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Tell her the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That way you don't have all the crime and stuff of New Orleans, but you're close enough that you can go over in about an hour.
I don't want to live in Mississippi.
I get that too. I mean,
I might just move back to Florida and go completely apeshit. Be like, whatever, become the Florida man I was born to be.
The Florida man you were born to be.
If we would never move to Kentucky from Florida, can you imagine how I'd be?
Yeah.
I'd be a boy band or something in a boy band.
You probably wouldn't sound the same.
I don't know. I grew up in the redneck area of Florida, so it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Not Kansas. We're going to side with Mandy on that one.
So I'm sorry. My dogs were going crazy for some reason. So you're going to join the boy band? So you're going to shave your beard again?
Yeah, I might shave it again. It's a good idea. Right?
It was pretty short on that video we were watching during the intermission.
Yeah,
it was.
No, I'm gonna let it grow down to my ankles this time. I think when they put me in the coffin, I want
to start seeing some Viking braids.
It ain't long enough yet. They're little tiny braids right now. When you do it, it looks ridiculous. So maybe someday.
I had a coworker a few years ago. His was about the length of yours, and he put in these little Christmas ornaments, and he tied for the best Christmas decor.
Three separate people have bought me Christmas ornaments for my beard, and they're all in the landfill somewhere.
We'll see. Well, I promised to bring the history of the 8-hour workday. That's what I brought for the free for all.
Yeah.
You want me to hit that first?
Absolutely.
So the 8-hour workday, as I mentioned the other week, was not a gift to us. It was seized. It was not handed down from generous bosses or kind-hearted politicians. It was fought for, and people quite literally died for it. And the event that caused all of this was called the Haymarket Affair, because even though many people have never heard of it, it is, in fact, a moment that changed our labor history forever. It was the late 1800s. American factory workers were being pushed through 10, 12, and 16-hour shifts in brutal conditions. No weekends, no holidays, no protections, no rights. And during the Industrial Revolution, that was a no bueno. So you had like very, very sloppy working conditions. Eventually, the working class had had enough. A national movement formed around a demand that sounded simple in today's terms: 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for what we will. And on May 1st, 1886, 500,000 workers across the country went on strike, with Chicago becoming the epicenter of this. It was a they'd planned a peaceful rally, and it was planned at Haymarket Square to support the ongoing strikes and condemn police violence from the previous day. Things did not stay peaceful, however. As expected, the police tried to intimidate the crowd at the time. Then someone, and nobody knows who this is to this day, threw a bomb into the line of advancing officers. Chaos erupted instantly. Police opened fire. Workers were killed. Civilians were killed. Police were killed. And it became a massacre reminiscent of that of like Gangs of New York, like the movie.
Yeah.
The state did not stop there. They took this event as an excuse to round up labor organizers who had spoken publicly, written pamphlets, or dared to lead the workers into strikes. The trial that followed remains one of the most blatantly corrupt trials in U.S. history. The 8 accused were August Spies, Albert Parsons, Adolph Fisher, George Engel, Louis Ling, Samuel Fielden, Michael Schwab, and Oscar Neebe. Several of them had not even been present when the bomb exploded. The judge openly despised the defendants and made it clear he's probably being lobbied. Maybe made it clear that he believed them guilty before testimonies were even heard. The jury was carefully selected to include men who admitted bias against labor activists, yet were still approved. There were no physical evidence connecting any of the defendants to the bomb. The prosecution even admitted that it did not know who threw it. Instead, the state argued that the men's speeches, writings, and political beliefs had created an atmosphere that inspired the unknown bomber, and this alone justified their execution. It was a political show trial, not a pursuit of justice at the time, because they wanted to scare everybody who were fighting for an 8-hour workday. All of these men, well, not all of them, Spies, Parsons, Engel, and Fisher were executed. Lewis Ling died by suicide in his cell after many what believed was an attempt by authorities to kill him before the state could. The remaining 3 were sentenced to long-term prison terms. And years later, the governor of Illinois at the time, John Peter Altgeld, pardoned them. In his official statement, he condemned the trial as a disgrace, a miscarriage of justice, and an act of political persecution against men whose only real crime had been organizing workers against the betterment of humanity. But here's the part that matters. Their deaths ignited a worldwide labor movement. There was international outrage and solidarity that forced businesses and governments to shorten the working day. The memory of the Haymarket martyrs became a rallying point for workers across the globe. The 8-hour workday was, in fact, not a gift. It did not come from benevolent employers or our government. It was won through struggle, mass action, people who refused to back down even when the state tried to silence them with corruption, violence, and death. And it came from blood. And that's how we got to where we're at today. And I don't ever. Do you remember learning about that in school?
No. I think we should go back to the 12-hour workday.
4 12s?
7 12s.
7 12s.
Only now, see, because we in Mississippi, you have a 40-hour work week, and anything over 40 hours is considered overtime.
Yeah.
But in California, anything over 8 hours a day is overtime.
Yeah.
So if you work 12 hours today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, then you get 4 hours of overtime for each of those days, even though you have under 40 hours for the week.
But I'm there. Bernie Sanders, who he's a politician, but I just read today that he's trying to lobby again for 32-hour work weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries do it.
Yeah, other countries do it, and they prosper. Some of them,
yep.
Not all of them. But I would be down for that. I like working.
Well, it's like universal health care. I mean, I know it's so hard that only 32 out of the 33 most developed countries pulled it off.
Yeah.
But
as long as they could solve for queuing.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I don't like about some of the models like Canada is you hear about people who are sick that have to wait for an approved doctor or whatever. And as long as we could solve for that, I'm down.
I would tell you one thing, and I've seen this. I've argued with people about it and everything else. Okay. We hear about all the horrors of it here, but a good friend of ours lived in England, and they have universal health care. And I had heard forever, oh, well, you can't see the doctor. You can't this, you can't that. They say the only time that you actually have a waiting period is over elective stuff. But when our friend, he went to his doctor because he was having bad headaches, he was pushed to the front of the line on everything. It ended up, he had a brain tumor. He went straight into treatment. Now, he still passed away because he waited voluntarily waited because he's like, oh, it's just a headache. Oh, it's just a headache. It's no big deal. And every Canadian I've ever spoken to will tell you hands down, I would not trade our insurance for what you people have for anything under the sun. My ex-husband actually moved to Canada because of their health care, and he was prior military. So.
Yeah, I get it.
I think so. We already blow so much tax money. With what we've given other countries, we could have, everybody could have had free health care in that way, free everything when it comes to x-rays, like Jenny's talking about, and that's the only thing that concerns me is they would use that as an excuse to, well, first of all, that would never happen because of insurance lobbies.
Yeah.
But secondly, even if it were to happen, I think that it's just like any other thing, right? They use it as an excuse to make it as bad as humanly possible, like it because it's free.
Right.
It'd be like Section 8 housing. It'd be, you know what I mean? Like it would be notorious for being bad health care if it was free.
Well,
if they did it in similar ways to where they've done other programs like that.
Another thing about it too, I feel like population has a lot to do with it. Like there's some countries, across seas that have universal health care, but they have extremely low population, so people get in and out quite easily. Even in Canada, I think their population is like a third of ours, maybe.
Does Turkey have free health care?
Yep.
So Turkey is known for like their exemplary healthcare system.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they've got a center where people from America will fly there, and in one day you can do a full checkup, like all the CT scans, all the heart stuff, your whole body, and it's like $300.
What the population of Turkey is 84 million. Let's see what the population of Canada is. Population of Canada. Well, I must have misspelled something. About 41.5 million. And you got to think that's compared to us, which we're like at 310 or something. I feel like it might be a little bit of a disaster here just because
politicians, politicians and lobbies are the problem with all of this.
Right. And I'll be honest with you. Universal health care, like totally free health care is not necessarily what I'm after, but I do think that you should have affordable health care. And I don't think an elderly person should have to choose between whether they eat and whether they can get their medication. That's bullshit.
Cheaper meds, definitely. Like more of an option for people to make medications because the market isn't saturated enough is the problem there.
Did you see this week where a generic ADHD medication, people were taking it, I think it was like Adderall, and people were taking it and being like, I just don't feel the same effects with this generic as I do Adderall. And they did a drug test and they had 0 Adderall in their system.
Wow.
After using the generic.
That doesn't even surprise me because, and plus when you come out with something new, you have a patent on it for a couple of decades.
Yep.
So there is no, nobody to compete with you.
Yeah, exactly. That needs to be changed.
Yes.
It's all lobbies. Lobbies are the problem here. Pharmaceutical lobbies, insurance lobbies. It's bad.
So
it's really bad.
And even, and this has been 20 years ago, but when I left corporate America, the one thing that I can say beyond question, I didn't take a pay cut, salary wise, but my new company could not touch my benefits. And I got, I had a $200 deductible. Medications cost $5 and $10. It was no copay on like emergency room or anything like that. And I paid $36 a pay period every 2 weeks. And
what was it? The last free for all that we had where the lady acted like she was paying out of pocket for a pregnancy versus using insurance. And it was going to be like 10 grand cheaper to pay out of pocket.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Because and they actually have like discounts and stuff that you can get, like I used to take a shot once a month for migraines. And at the time, I was getting it from the company that made it because of a plan that they had that if you made under a certain amount, you could get it for free. Well, they changed up their, stuff so that, I was no longer in that price bracket or in that, salary bracket. So I could no longer be covered. Well, at the time, my insurance didn't cover it at all. And it was $850 a shot. And that's not the most expensive shot I've ever taken. That was just the one they were like, do you want us to fill this? Well, hell no, I don't want you to fill that. That's 2 car notes. I mean, so.
I got a funny story that happened this week to me and my infinite stupidity. I had to go to the doctor. I have something on my skin that I had to get cut off. So I was filling out the paperwork, and I'm like, I've done this 1,000 times, so I'm just breezing through it. And they take me back to get ready to do it. And when they come in, they're like, we got to take extra precautions with you because of this and this. I was like, really? I was like, that's strange. And I was like, yeah, you're HIV positive. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, you marked HIV positive. I was like, oh no, that was an accident.
Oh my God.
So now I know for a fact that they did not correct that, more than likely.
Well, at least they're paying attention.
So next time I go to
What's
the
up,
doctor,
Alan?
Hey, Alan.
I'm probably going to have to tell the next several doctors I see several times that I'm not HIV positive.
I'm surprised they didn't make you do a blood test.
They come in with gloves up to their elbows
did.
and
They
masks and all
came
that stuff.
because they had to do some cutting, so they came in like fully prepared, like they were ready to roll. But I was like, oh no.
Jenny, they had to take his third nipple off his back. And Landa, it was a generic Adderall, and I don't remember the name of it, but I would just say pay attention to how you feel, and as long as you feel like because there's multiple, right? Like as long as you feel like what you're taking is working. But I would say if you notice a difference, definitely speak up about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not a medical professional.
So that's funny, Jenny, because I had to have a PET scan one time, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a whole body scan. They're looking for cancer, and it was literally in a trailer, an 18-wheeler trailer outside of the hospital. You walked outside across a ramp and into a trailer, and that's where you had this done at. So.
Jenny's comment. Why are we going outside?
But yeah, that was
just in a robe standing out in the snow.
That was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and I know for a fact that they keep those medical records, so that's going to follow me for a little while. I imagine
it will, because, like I said, they'll put a question on it. Because I've told you I had Hep C. For years, I had a big like the contamination seal symbol on the outside of my doctor's records, and I'm like, that's horrible. I mean, I'm radioactive or something.
But yeah, I marked HIV positive. I think I meant to check diabetes, but I don't even have diabetes. Like I thought it was like my family member. I literally checked no on everything. But
and that's a good segue into the next topic.
All right.
It's not me.
Who is it?
But I thought you bringing something about vampires, blood.
That's me. Okay. So yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Every culture has a vampire, and that should really bother us because. It's like we've talked before. These places are oceans apart and centuries apart, and all of this stuff that they are coming up with are so similar that you have to wonder how much of it is just, it's myth and it's superstition and stuff like that, but is it really? So like I said, all these different cultures imagine the same things, that it's something that looked human and acted human or pretends to be human, but that they survive by taking from others. And the thing is, it's not always blood. Sometimes it can be your breath, it can be your youth, it can be your spirit, your vitality. The details change, but the shape of it all remains the same. So, are vampires folklore, or are they mirrors of our society?
To me, I mean, there's been mention of these beings that can drain your life force for thousands of years. It goes all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia, with like the Ikamu and I can't remember.
Lilith.
It wasn't Lilith, it's like Lil2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like they consume, they drain life forces, they cause sickness, nightmares, and wasting illnesses. And I feel like things that popped up in ancient history that long ago had to start with some kind of truth. And then it just kind of evolves into what it is now. A lot of people consider these people like night demons, and who are we to say that demons didn't walk the earth back then? I think they still do now.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny because while I was thinking about this, because like I said, I was looking at different types from different cultures, and it never really occurred to me until I was doing this is technically a chupacabra could be considered a vampire.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because every culture that has that, they talk about the 2 puncture wounds and all the blood being drained and everything like that.
I'm starting to feel bad because I thought Steven was just being quiet all night. I think you're muted, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought you were being quiet too.
Yeah, I had to get on to Clarence a while ago. So he was in. I don't know what they were barking about, but they were carrying on and making a lot of noise. And then he started doing his low tone howl, whatever he does. I don't know.
I still love that you named your dog Clarence.
Yeah. Everybody that sees him, they like the name. It just fits him. So
I will say it's a pretty awesome name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the chupacabra, I guess to add my 2 cents in on that, the first reports of the chupacabra came from Puerto Rico in the 1970s. And I forget how long it lasted, but it lasted for a few years or something like that. And then it just ended. And then the next reports of it, I think probably came out of Texas. So if it was the same thing, which some people believe is probably one of those secret labs that let something get loose, which very well could have been the case, because in order for the same thing to start happening in Texas, I'm pretty sure one of the creatures didn't swim there. So
Right. Yeah. And from all accounts, the Puerto Rican ones and the ones that were seen in America, people describe them as very similar in appearance and behavior and everything.
Yeah. I mean, vampire is one of those things, I kind of wish that was true. I don't know if you was given the chance to become a vampire and have life eternal, would you do it?
Depends.
It depends, because what kind are we? Nosferatu? Are we the sparkly, shiny ones? Are we the classic, Bram Stoker-ish, or
if I could figure out what everything is, it depends. Like if we're in some kind of soul trap or something where we're recycled over and over again, I would definitely like to hang out and remember everything as opposed to being recycled. But if there's a legit beyond, I may not linger.
And that goes to another question though. If you had life eternal as a vampire, would it be like a Man of Earth situation to where you live so long you just have bits of knowledge?
Well, I think aliens would come around eventually. I don't think you'd be on a nuked planet or anything.
No, you know what I mean though. Like, think about when you were a child. Like the only thing you really remember are like big events. You know, like things that brandished on you. So if you lived 500 years, what all could you actually remember? You know what I mean?
Well, think about this though. If your body is able to regenerate cells in a way that you're not aging,
Right.
your neurons would be firing at like an insane rate. You'd probably be able to use more of your brain than what you currently can.
But you know, and they you know, a lot of kids, you know, I think that it's not that they don't remember. I think that they are encouraged to forget because of it's just their imagination, or you grow up and society tells you differently. But the reason I firmly believe in reincarnation is from memories from childhood. You know, things I could remember from before this life.
I've been seeing a lot about reincarnation lately, accounts throughout history of reincarnation. That might not be. Have we ever done an episode on that? Like people talking about reincarnation or being reincarnated?
Me, Hadley, and Hadley's sister on our second episode. That's what we talked about.
Well, we might need to re-hit that.
Yeah,
at some
I think
point.
we do.
Because now there's a little girl that claims that she's Princess Diana. Have you seen that?
I have not.
No. So there's been some recent accounts too. There's a lady that claims that she was Anne Frank.
Yeah.
But maybe one of the most curious cases was a random girl in India. I was listening to this and I'm just like, there's no way. Like, not only did she lead him back to her old house, she found money hidden in the floor.
Wasn't she went back? She was a man that was. Is that the one? She was a man that passed away.
No, this isn't the one. Like her husband from her past life was still alive.
Okay, that might be what I think. I know the one you're talking about. I think I remember reading something about that.
But for the next video session we do, I do have a full, because the Apollyon and stuff gets into that kind of thing. I've got kind of a longer video about the archons and that whole deal. But I also just spent a minute to pull up a vampire video.
Cool.
It's a lady that does those tours in, I guess, New Orleans.
Orleans.
I think it's you go there once and now you've got the whole.
I like going down to New Orleans eating that shrimps.
All right, so
a lot of strange people on my tours over the years. I do a vampire tour. There was a couple. They asked it to be a private tour. They both gave off a weird vibe. And they were asking really detailed questions about vampires and what I knew about like Saint Germain, what my thoughts were about different people who had been accused of vampirism throughout the years. Not things that normal people that are interested in vampires usually would ask. At the end of the tour, they asked me to walk them to their car.
Walk them
to their car. And I said, I'm sorry, I have another tour. They're like, okay. They got in the car and they sat there. When I left for the evening, I drove back by. The car was still sitting there. They weren't there. The next day, the car was still there. The car didn't belong to them. When I reached out to ask them if everything was okay, my emails all bounced and the phone number didn't work.
Do you conclude that they might have been vampires?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've encountered one, so.
It wouldn't be the first time?
Yeah. Saint Germain, though.
I'd love to talk to her.
Saint Germain, though, everybody throws him into this vampire thing because he was always seen drinking the red liquid and stuff. I don't think he was a vampire. I think that he was an alchemist that discovered something that kept his longevity.
Well, you
Like
just
the
said
Philosopher's Stone.
there's different variations of what vampirism is.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
Like there could be alchemical vampirism, like something like that. Maybe that's why people think it's blood. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's always been this special liquid.
Could be.
Right. Well, and go ahead.
And the royals, who we all believe are life suckers, they all have anemia issues, so they probably have to get a lot of blood too.
Well, and you remember the hot mic at the Queen's funeral when they were like, we're having trouble bringing her back.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't surprise me one bit if like these elites like that. If all this is real, right? Like if there's a way to trap souls, you best believe billionaires are trapping their souls so that they don't forget.
Right.
So that they don't have to go on to the next justice for the
and that right there, with what the world learned about here in the past 5 years, wouldn't that be considered a type of vampirism as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's definitely
that,
emotional
with that starts with the A.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it does not. I mean, I have been around what I consider psychic vampires, those people that are just so flippin' negative and they just suck the life out of you.
Yeah, they drain your energy.
Yes,
Yeah,
they do.
I gotta go to one's house tomorrow.
They,
I'll tell Rachel you were talking about her.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
and that's the thing. Like I said, I think in some cases they honestly don't know that they're doing it, and in other cases they completely know it, and they kind of want you to know that they know it.
No, Jenny LaVey's daughter. Look up a picture of her compared to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I've talked to people that have literally made me almost go cross-eyed. Like, like I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I can think of a few people like that where it's just like Jesus.
And when I watched that show, What We Do in the Shadows, and Colin Robinson, he's the energy vampire on there. I said, I know people just like that. That's when I realized that these people might not be of this earth.
Right. Well, and that's like I said, when I was researching and everything, because they have like the Romanian. That's where most people think of, when they start thinking about vampires. And they had the Strigoi. And it tended to be like a family member, a close friend, your neighbor, or something like that. And
the dogs, you scared the dogs.
I'm telling you, no, the neighbor came home. So, but they tended to always come back to their same neighborhood, to their same people. And then like night after night, they would drain them, not enough to kill them. But, you would start noticing that people would look sick, or, that the kids would get pale looking, and that nobody was well rested. And the thing is, it wasn't in their culture that the vampire was driven strictly by hunger, but it was by resentment because of unfinished business, or, that they had to give up life and that the people that were left behind were still living.
Yeah.
And everything. So, like I said, but while blood was the way that they used it, there was an underlying malevolence because, you're still here and I'm not. So,
speaking of malevolence, did you see where David Pilates is swerving out of his lane?
No.
He's released a documentary about Bigfoot.
David Pilates, is that the guy that does the barstool stuff?
Missing 411.
Oh,
that's
the guy that said we didn't have enough followers for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not doing Missing 411 anymore. Instead, he's either about to release it on Amazon Docs or he has released it, but it's his Bigfoot.
I'll watch it and if it's not worth the damn, a thumbs down.
Maybe we could maybe I don't know. Do you guys think you would have time between now and next Friday to watch it?
I'm not going to be here next Friday.
Or the Friday after?
I mean, y'all can do it. You don't have to wait on me.
What about the 26th?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Somebody have to remind me to watch it though.
Maybe the 26th we could do a Bigfoot and talk about how we feel his doc is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've got the best, most knowledgeable one here every week anyway. So
that's true.
Yeah. Maybe some of his supporters would tune in for that one then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Don't worry. I've got ammunition if they want to start something.
I'll just title the episode "David Pilates Sucks." Maybe that'll capture some attention.
Yeah, that'd be cool if we had him in chat, huh? Come on up, Dave.
I mean, we did have the Tiger King.
Yeah.
You know, so
I would argue that the Tiger King's way bigger stock than David Pilates.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I would too. Yeah, but it's on Netflix, or it's going to be.
I think it's on Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh, on Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, self-release, I'd imagine.
Yeah, similar to what Todd Standing did then.
Which I watch all my stuff through a service in
Bangladesh,
Europe.
Yeah.
I pay 18 euros every 6 months.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I need to re-up mine. But vampires. I mean, as far it's such a old thing that I don't think that it can't not be real. You know what I mean? Like it had to be real at some point in time. I don't think like people, they had imaginations, they can make up stories and whatnot. But a lot of these things that we hear about that people say couldn't exist, I just can't think that multiple cultures around the world would have the same things without something kind of truth to it.
Well, Morgana, when you researched this, what were the oldest vampire stories that you were able to find?
Hang on just a second. I do have some of that information.
Okay, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
No.
But I know the one of the first vampire books or Dracula books, it was based on Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
From Romania. That was in what, 1800.
I think it was earlier than that. I think he was closer to the 16s.
Yeah, but I think the book that was written was in the 1800s.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But the thing is, you got to account that vampire hasn't always been vampire either. It's like different forms. It's been around thousands of years.
That's what Sekhmet, 1500 BC in Egypt, was a warrior goddess. She drank blood to gain power.
Yeah.
So that was that one. There was Lamashtu from Mesopotamia from 2000 BC, who was a demon who preyed on newborns and mothers and by sucking their blood. And then Lilith, in Jewish folklore.
Yeah, the night hag. Yeah.
And
Queen
of the vampires.
Did the Aztecs ever come up in that for their blood rituals and stuff?
I do not
Landa,
know.
I think unicorns are the stupidest thing to say that it wasn't real because it's just a horse with a horn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
Actually, whenever you go back to Webster's dictionary with unicorn, because of this right here, there's a reason why I've had to look it up. It's basically a single horned rhinoceros is what a unicorn was.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy to think about because cows have horns like that, and some of them don't.
The narwhal,
yeah.
I mean, it has a clear horn. Not that
it's
just
so stupid that people are like unicorns could have never existed.
I'm about ready to get myself in trouble because of a intrusive thought, and if I don't get out, I'm gonna die.
Okay.
When you said night hag, I was like, hey, that's my pet name for Mandy. And now I'm gonna she's gonna hear that and get mad at me and put in my face.
So the night hag,
you're gonna get beat up, dude.
Yeah. Would that be
I want pictures tomorrow, Tully, if he shows up with bruises.
Yeah. Well, if she's listening, she may come in there and put the stone cold stunner on him here in a minute. So
she hits me in places you can't see the bruises.
Comes in there with a sock full of soap, just starts beating the hell out of you.
Yeah, well, with the night hag and stories like that with vampires, I mean, would a succubus kind of be in the same category, or is that completely different?
Well, it's more of an energy vampire, but succubus.
Who's TikTok?
Oh, my wife's Appalachian that lady.
Oh, okay.
But No, a succubus is not traditionally a vampire, but they are often linked in folklore because both seduce victims to drain their life force or essence, with the succubi
Right.
feeding on lust and energy and vampires on blood. So, in a strict sense, yeah, because they are a demon that sucks life energy. So there's kind of a little bit of blurring lines, I think, there.
Yeah.
Kind of like the chupacabra. I mean,
And and there's a chance that a succubus is where vampire came from. To me, I mean, it's just as logical as anything else.
Or a combo of that and like alchemical vampirism, like Germain.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they go back to Mesopotamia, ancient Greece, ancient India, ancient Judaism. I mean, so they all go back, thousands of years. So, like you said earlier, there's got to be a kernel of truth in there.
Right. And the whole reason, I guess the reason for a vampire to desire the blood, is for their longevity, and what the Bible tells you that the life is in the blood, and we know that without blood, nothing living can live, no mammoths can live without it.
I mean, there's been celebrities talk about getting blood transfusion of younger people to feel better. Like that's out. Like they were like, you get a transfusion of somebody's young blood and you just feel like $1 million.
And in face products.
Yeah.
Which is like straight up battery.
Yeah. That one was. Whew.
You know what's so crazy? People that use a lot of face products, like a lot of them, I've noticed when they don't use them, like their skin starts getting a little rough. Never used it in a day in my life. I'm 40 years old and when I shave this beard, I look like I'm 12. My skin's so perfect.
Okay, I'm not spending $20 to watch his Bigfoot movie, Tully. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why you gotta arg. Like,
send me a link.
if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing.
There you go. There you go. And that is so much the case because I'll be honest with you, has been just recently that I realized that all the movies I've purchased through Amazon could go away tomorrow and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yep, 100%.
When I discovered that, it's like the last one I'll ever buy.
That's the reason you do hard copies.
I do. I've got a lot of them.
Yeah, I even bought a couple of CDs, or I guess whatever they are, the compact disc of movies, whatever. So
we should do a joint effort with my brains and your brawn. You should haul all of your movies up here, not tomorrow, but we should plan this out. And I could scan all of your movies and all of my movies and TV shows, and we'll put them all on a server so that you have the hard copies and a server that you could use if the power goes out.
And,
give me the money to rent the U-Haul and I'll bring them up.
And then after you get done, if you catalog them, I'll compare it to what I've got. And if you're missing any, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, we would have like 5,000 movies and TV shows if we did that. But
we'll start our own streaming service.
I've got a pretty big collection too that I've got in totes, and it's probably 6 totes worth of movies.
I've lost count. Last time I counted is like 22, 23. But I've lost count at this point.
Yeah.
No, see, I keep
22
mine.
what?
100.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I only have about 600, but mine are all cataloged. So I can tell you exactly what I've got.
No, mine's in alphabetical order.
Mine's in alphabetical order. I used to do it genre, then alphabetical.
I did too. It got tiresome.
Well, Mo wouldn't put them back in their place, so I just went alphabetical.
Yeah.
So that could be an undertaking where we have, well, you wouldn't be able to do it unless you had external power, but if your internet went out and you still had power, you could still watch it just like Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can actually use Plex, the streaming service. It can actually be put on a server and will actually work just like a streaming service in your entire house.
We probably shouldn't be talking about illegal shit.
No. It is legal to back up your movie collection.
Yes, it's legal. It's completely legal.
You just cannot share it, and
And
you
you can't
cannot
sell it.
it.
Yeah.
That's right.
So talking about starting your own streaming service
have a good
probably
night.
ain't.
Good night, Jenny.
See you, Jenny. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
But yeah, that'd be cool. We can do that. Anyway, but the first one we gotta do is Italian Stallion. That's my number one.
Or, well, I'll have to think about this because you do have a good computer.
Yeah.
It may be as easy as. Well, we'll talk about it after. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
I think with an external disk drive and a good hard drive, we might be able to let you do some there, and then I do some here, and then I can join them all together.
I've got an external disk drive, and I've got 2 spare 4 terabyte hard drives, so we can do that. Anyway, let's move right along. Are we still on Vampers?
Well, unless there's something else you'd like to tackle onto. You never told Stephen about your experience.
But I told it again, and I don't. All right, I'll tell it again.
Hey,
we only had 25 people on when you told it earlier.
Okay. So the other night we went to get water, like we do. We have to fill up big gallon things because I don't like drinking the water in here. Anyway, when I went to take the second jug down, I caught something right here, like in my peripheral, like a gray blob. So I went and looked like this, and it looked like it scurried off. And I was like, well, that could be the lights from the car, because the car was facing me, lights were on, it was dark. So when I went to get the third jug, I heard like a tree go crack, like snap.
Oh.
And you've seen the pictures where I'm at, where I get my water. There's a cliff here, a cliff here. And I heard a big smack against a cliff wall, and it was a rock thrown against a cliff wall, and it fell. It couldn't have fell off the cliff because it's straight down. So something threw a huge rock against a cliff wall, and it fell down into the little valley. So after
This
that,
is the Daniel Boone Forest.
Yeah, it's in the Daniel Boone Forest. And so after that, I got in the car. I didn't say anything for about 4 miles. And then I was like, did you hear that, Minnie? And of course, she didn't hear shit because she was sitting in the car. What do you think that was? To me, like, that might be my first experience with something. I don't know what it was.
Well, I'll give you one guess as to what throws rocks out there in the woods.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, is this happening? As soon as the rock hit the ground, I had the jug in the back, and I was sitting in the car driving off. That went to show me what would happen if I came face to face with something. I would run away, because that's exactly my first thought. I was like, well, time to get the fuck out of here.
I've only been to just basically 3 states, Bigfooting, and but I can tell you without a doubt, in Oklahoma, they throw more rocks in Oklahoma than any place else. They do throw rocks, and I've experienced them throwing rocks here in Arkansas as well. And Lauren, who y'all know, she has come closer than anybody I've ever known to getting hit with a rock. It landed within about a foot of her one night down in fact.
Now, this was about, when they threw the rock, is about 35, 40 feet, like, up the road. You know what I mean? It wasn't real close. But the tree snapping sounded like it came, like, directly overhead. Yeah. And then it smacked, then the rock smacked across the ravine.
Yeah. You might have messed up a meal for them. Since they were in 2 different spots.
Nice.
Yeah. Because that's a spring.
Trying to run you off.
Yeah, well, we're not going back at night anymore, so
yeah, because that's a spring, and anytime you get good clean water, I mean, other animals are attracted to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lando, what gaming system do you have?
Who?
Landa said All she has is a gaming system.
Oh,
Stephen, I forgot. You have a subject too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about it. It's I've done a little more digging into it. It's the Boxer Rebellion. Are y'all familiar with that? Took place in China.
Oh, Cecil was the meal.
I'd be a
Yeah.
tasty. That's for sure. I'm definitely a snack.
Yeah. Basically, it was in China. They had a group in China that was strictly opposed to westernization of China, Christians and all that, and it led to a big rebellion. And there were several thousand people who wound up getting killed during that right there because they thought China was giving up their culture and everything else, culture, tradition, all their history and everything else. But the thing that got tied into it was a fake story, and the fake story was published as real news. Basically, in 1899, there were 4 journalists who completely made up the story about a contractor who had been hired to go tear down the China Wall.
What?
Yes.
I've never heard this.
Yeah. It was basically what the real Boxer Rebellion about was a deep-seated anti-foreign, anti-Christian sentiment in Qing China, fueled by social, economic, and political factors.
How long is this before? Is this like Mao? Like how far is this?
1900.
1899 to 1901 is when this took place, and they wound up getting troops to come in from other places to help finally get this settled down, and killed a bunch of them. But the funny part of the story was the invention of it was the 4 Denver reporters from the Denver Republican newspaper. They were in a bar. They needed a story. They concocted a tale of a Chicago engineer named Frank Lewis, who was allegedly traveling to China to secure a contract for the demolition of the Great Wall of China.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's not even their wall.
All right. The story was highly speculative and difficult to verify China's isolationist policies at the time, making it an easy lie to start. Is picked up by numerous newspapers across the United States, Europe, and even spreading internationally as real news. And in 1939 is whenever a guy with the last name Wilbur, a radio man, said that was what this made up story was what caused the Boxer Rebellion, which that was all fake news. So the fake news and something like that spread from Denver, Colorado to across the pond was made up by 4 guys who needed a story in a bar one night.
Well, what I like is Boxers, which were the Chinese people who kicked this off, were members of the Society of Righteous and Harmonious Fists.
Yeah.
They practiced martial arts, believed they had supernatural powers like bullet immunity, and they destroyed foreign property.
Yeah. And they found out they were not bulletproof.
That brings up a good point, and I don't know how. Like, that's not too different from how the Japanese belief systems are. And it makes me curious how those sort of belief systems evolved in that area and didn't really spread to the Western societies.
Yeah.
Like, you think about kamikazes and ritual death and stuff like that. Like, it's weird that it didn't spread beyond that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Shintoism was basically for Japan only. I mean, it really didn't, just like you said, it didn't go anywhere else. It was strictly a Japanese belief system with
But I just
Shintoism.
mean like, the immunity or glorious death, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that's shared, and it's not just exclusive to China and Japan, but even in Vietnam, whenever that was all going on, that was a thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of strange that becomes like a tradition. But there was a time in my life when I was a kid, like when I say kid, like late teens, early 20s, where I would have died for my convictions, you know what I mean? Like glorious.
Well, I think it's well, if you're born into that, it just like ancient civilizations, if you're born into that and it's normal to go cut people's head off at the top of a pyramid, that's just what life is. So
Right.
I think that's how a lot of these societies evolve, is just like it's normal.
I agree.
And maybe our normal isn't normal to them.
I'm
sure being poisoned by food and water isn't normal.
It's not in other
No, it's
countries.
not.
That's why it is banned, in so many of them. I mean, not that, other countries are perfect. And like I said, because, I always hear people from both sides say, well, if you don't like it, you should leave the country. You know what? This is my damn country. And you can't take it from me just because I disagree with you.
Oh, I heard a good one.
I was born in the USA.
So we did the Crisco saga. I got another tidbit of information about the Crisco saga.
Yeah.
So we never talk about who had huge storage of cottonseed at the time.
Two guys.
Yeah. It was the people that founded the gentleman that founded Procter and Gamble. And the problem was that they were candle makers at the time. And it was when electricity was first starting to take off and the light bulb was first starting to take off, and they were making candles out of cheap cottonseed, and they're like, what are we gonna do? That's how Crisco was invented.
They had 50 tons of the stuff.
I want to crack Steven's skull open and just walk around in there and see all the information in there.
Yeah.
They bleach it white, and they were talking about, they even came up with stories, to promote Crisco and to get people to be sickened by lard. They said they'd even found the remains of people in the lard pots where they were cooking.
Well, didn't they lobby the American Heart Association to push that agenda?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And in tandem, very similar to how the reason Christmas is associated with red, yeah, I need to bring that story back out for Christmas. But the reason Santa Claus is dressed in red is because Coca-Cola invented that. But at the same time, they were doing, not only did the first Crisco cans were white to represent cleanliness, they also came out with a cookbook to pander to housewives and homesteaders, and people were given it was like the hottest Christmas gift of that year was to give the Crisco cookbook to your significant other.
Yeah, because the cookbooks were really, really, really nice, and that's what they wanted to do. Replace your lard and your beef tallow with cottonseed oil, which is a waste product.
Yep,
it's delicious. But the Coke story,
I have some in my cabinet right now. I use it to season a cast iron.
I just didn't. Whenever we did the Total Control episode, I don't think P&G ever came up.
No, it did not.
No.
And I think that's a fact that they want to exclude from history. I don't know if you've ever seen that building. It's here in Cincinnati, their headquarters.
Really?
And that building looks, I don't know when it was built. You'd have to look it up, but it looks like, what's the right word?
Gothic.
It's very just different from a lot of the other buildings in Cincinnati. And it's almost like just Mount Doom. Like it's got that vibe. Here, I'll see if I can find a good picture.
But the Coke thing, man, I like the story of the Coke thing because I don't like I don't like the way they do things, but Coke, the way that it's developed Christmas into what it is crazy to me. Coca-Cola was selling in mass quantities during the summertime. Like they just couldn't keep it on the shelf. But as soon as it started getting a little cold, they noticed that nobody's buying our product. What the hell's going on? So they came up with a marketing idea to tie it into Christmas. And they turned it into a Christmas drink by coming up with our version of Santa Claus that we know now. Is a short of it, and then pushing out on people like Santa Claus loves Coca-Cola.
Santa Claus is also a white Norwegian man, as opposed to the guy from Turkey.
Yeah. I'll get the whole story together because it's fascinating how they ended up doing it.
I'll be honest with you. The only way they've got me, and as long as I can remember, it has been a thing, is the Clydesdales. They're beautiful. They know how to market with them. I mean,
yes.
The only thing I ever liked as much as the Clydesdale when they had Frank and Louie and the ferrets, the frogs and stuff.
Yeah. Those were good. My favorite ones though were absolutely the Clydesdales, especially when they had the dog on the wagon with them.
Yep. Or the one where the dog takes off to go find him because he gets adopted, and
Yeah.
So they've marketed well. And I don't drink Coke. I don't drink anything that takes battery acid off of a battery, or that takes rust out of my toilet. I'm not going to ingest that.
I love Coca-Cola. I ain't gonna lie, it's my favorite soft drink, but I can't drink it much anymore. My favorite is the McDonald's. Something about them keeping that gelatin cool the whole time and mixing it with that mold that they never scrape off and just mix it.
That makes it work.
That looks like a prison.
This is a very favorable picture of this place. So they have a courtyard. You can kind of see the start of the square here. Yeah. And right now, if you were to drive past this building, like they haven't pressure washed it in a while, so it's like very dark and just kind of running down the building, and it looks like a villain's lair almost. And this architecture, honestly, it doesn't really match a lot.
I have seen that building. I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah, that's the P&G headquarters.
Wow. It does. It reminds me of a big prison.
Yeah.
But I'll show you the post office. And the post office is like also very out of place, like old world architecture. Let me see. Find a good picture of it. That's a painting.
Good picture.
It almost looks Roman. And it's kind of similar.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh.
And Cincinnati had a library that burnt down that was people said that it was reminiscent of the Library of Alexandria. Beautiful, beautiful library. But yeah, there's some.
You can for sure tell that was built at the exact same time as the other buildings around it.
Yeah.
No, the Greeks or Romans, neither one would have had anything to do with that.
Living around here definitely has opened my eyes, because there's just there's so much history even here that I mean the library that used to be here looked like something out of Hogwarts.
Nice.
Like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. Like this was the old library on the inside.
See that I could spend days there.
And it got torched along with a few other buildings that were old world style architecture.
I like to steal some Wi-Fi from that library.
Funny how that happens. I just want to tell y'all, I've had this thing on the entire time we've been on, and it has been going off all night.
EMF.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Neat.
they must like what we're talking about.
I went into a room full of computers one time with my EMF reader, and it also detects radiation. The EMF didn't pop, but that radiation
really
shot.
Well, you're talking about that. That reminded me. I hadn't said anything, but here the past few weeks we've had some, I don't know, things go on. There was one night. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and Clarence, he was asleep on the couch. Monks was asleep on the couch, and Clarence was on the floor right below him. And he wakes up, and he's just barking his head off, going crazy. And Leah looks in the living room, and she sees a light, and the light just disappears. Well, I think Shelby tested that with a flashlight to see if it could have been, maybe it was somebody outside. So we don't know for sure on that. But the most recent thing that happens is we have these doorbells that we can turn them on whenever the grandkids are here, because they're 2 and 4. So if they go outside, then we'll hear the doorbell. Well, it was still on. It was still on this night, and the door was shut. And part of the dogs were outside, part of them were inside. And the doorbell chimes, and the door doesn't open.
Yeah.
To test it, I tried to push on the door from the outside just to see, can I bump the door and make this go off? And I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it happen.
That's so terrifying, man. Like, oh no, there's something about this technology that's coming out. There, it happens. We've heard, about the infrared, that they could see beings and stuff, that when they use the red light opposed to the green light. There's been people that say that they see ghosts on, like, there's blink cameras. It's only a matter of time before this VHS 2, the movie VHS 2 is a prime example. They replace somebody's eye with a camera, and he starts seeing ghosts.
I'm sure that's already happened.
Yeah. And I feel like this technology is maybe lifting the veil that all the electronics closed when they were putting spider webs of electrical lines in the sky. You know what I mean?
I wish I could find that video of the person zooming in on some of the smallest chips to where they just keep zooming and it looks like city after city.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Look, I get that we have nano capabilities and stuff, but I'll never believe that we invented that.
No.
That's I ordered a replacement hard drive for a laptop at the office. I went to the website of the manufacturer, pulled it up by the service number, and it said, "This is the one you need." So today I go over there, I pop out the hard drive. It's a little SSD, about like that. What they sent me was less than an inch tall and an inch wide.
Micro SD, yeah.
But it will not fit in my computer.
You gotta have the adapter.
You gotta buy a dongle.
I love how you either gotta buy a dongle, but I love how they do this. They make
she has an Apple. She'll have to get
this was for Adele at work.
Oh.
And this is what Dale sent me. They didn't tell me I needed an adapter.
My favorite thing about it is they sell a bigger one. You put that one in.
Yeah. There's an adapter for PC where you got to stick the little one into the big one, and then you put it in.
Yeah, I have the little camera SSD like that, Cecil, where you've got the little teeny tiny one that looks like a SIM card.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the bigger one so you can put it in your reader.
Yeah. The same thing. Same situation.
All right. Well, then I guess I won't send it back to them on Monday.
But,
I'll spend another $20 on a damn adapter.
but where's it at? I don't have my pack for my laptop. You can buy an SD reader for like $10 that takes all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one over there. Because
But
when
now
I
this
went,
is to replace the actual hard drive with the operating system on it.
oh, never
That's
mind.
what I'm talking about. This is what I started with, and that's what they sent me.
Oh,
replace the hard
yeah,
drive.
that might not work.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
different. That's
Okay.
different.
They sent you the wrong part. I
Yeah.
think.
They had to, but when I went back today and put that same serial number in, it said, "This is what you need." And I'm like, "That's not ever going to fit."
I missed the context.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's probably
No,
because I called it an SSD.
Maybe try rather than serial, maybe try also contrasting that with model number.
No, that's what I mean. On Dell's, it actually, you have a number. All you do is type it into the Dell support website, and it pops your computer serial number and everything up.
Not Dell. Just put the model in Google and be like,
okay.
Hard drive or whatever it is.
Well, I seen Linda said earlier that she was talking about how all she had was a PS5, and we're talking about fancy computers. I would trade you this fancy computer for a PS5 if you want to go for it.
It's not hard to get a fancy computer anymore, Landa. If you wanted one,
you just have to have a need for it.
It's cheap. Well, I wish we could have got to the story, but did you see where? And maybe we can read this full story next week. But RAM, the cost of RAM has went up 400%.
Yeah, I know.
In the last few months because of data centers.
It's because of the gold.
Yeah.
Because of gold.
400%. RAM used to be cheap.
I was going to say, regular non prioritized RAM costs what Apple RAM does now.
Yeah, when I was going through like V school, vocational school in high school, I just load up my pockets with RAM all day. It was free.
I've got boxes of it that I've replaced RAM. Yeah. What do you do with it? Throw it in a box with the rest of it because you're never going to go backwards.
No.
So.
But yeah, the RAM costs are ridiculous now.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yep. I'm hoping this computer is a lifetime computer, but I know it's not.
No.
You need an Apple for that, Cecil.
No. It's all planned obsolescence at this point.
It is.
You can't get a PC or a PlayStation or an Xbox
the next gen of game systems are going to be PCs. The Xbox is going to be a PC.
I'll tell you, as someone who plays games every now and again, I'm keeping my eye on Steam is coming out with something that looks like a GameCube.
My nephew wants it.
And not only do you not have to pay, this is the biggest thing, you don't got to pay to play. So it don't cost any money to play online on Steam because it's the same as a computer. Not only that, it's spec'd out. Like it's got tons of RAM, it's got the best video cards, and it's got like 5 terabytes of storage or something crazy.
You're doing the energy vampire thing because my nephew the other day when I went and got him was talking about this and started going through the specs.
It's amazing.
It got 410 FPS. Oh my god, dude!
just on the just taking away the pay to play. Like there's no subscription fees to play online on Steam because Steam is what computer players use to download games.
Yeah.
So you can play online with anybody on PS5 or Xbox.
Yeah.
It's just like having a PC, except you can connect controllers. It's gonna be a console killer when it comes out.
Well, Tully, and I agree with you on planned obsolescence. That said, I have an 18-year-old Mac G5 that I can plug in right now and run all my old Adobe products.
Yes.
And everything.
Yes.
But the reason I replaced it is because I can't go any higher on Firefox or Chrome or any of that stuff.
Because the 90s and 2000s computers only got like one update a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're getting weekly updates and
I've got
bi-monthly massive updates.
I've got a 2014 Mac sitting right behind these monitors that are running my servers because they're too old to run on the M4 chips.
Yes.
So, but all I do is, use it like a network and I can get to all my files and stuff on my Pegasus servers.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm a computer nerd, or I'm a Mac nerd.
With that being said,
we gotta go.
Yeah, I was gonna cover a kids who kills, but I was only going to do one to set you all up, give you a little taste to come on back.
Just put it on the list.
I think we'll save that. So what's next week? Join us.
What were y'all going to talk about?
Landa, you're always here at the beginning of the show. From now on, anybody that's left who's always here at the beginning of the show, remind us to tell people to follow us at the beginning of the show. Nobody's listening this far. Who's a new listener? We got to be like, and before we get started, please follow us if you like what you're about to hear. And we always forget that. So, Landa, I'm tasking you.
Yes.
Give us a reminder at the beginning of the show to remind people.
Yeah, and if we ever start getting paid, we'll send you some merch.
Okay, hold on just a second, and I'll tell you next week. Craziest deathbed confessions.
Oh, yeah.
That work for y'all?
That'll be a good one. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
I'm down for that.
Put reincarnation on there.
Okay, I will put reincarnation on here.
Put youngins who kill.
Kids who kill. Reincarnation. I need one from you, Stephen.
Yes, Larry. Yes, Larry.
Oh, Amber Alert.
Oh.
No.
I thought we were about to get the zombie apocalypse.
No, there's a 3-month-old that
Mills. We can put that in with crazy last words, or do a separate one. I love that one. I've read about like inmates' last meals a lot.
All right, it's on there. Inmates. You don't get to take credit for Shelby's though, Stephen.
You know, I've
Okay.
put at least like 18 on that list.
Yeah.
There was one like 6-month period where I was reading about people's last meal requests in prison, and I was eating it.
Really?
Well, that'll be a cool conversation. We should do that with what did you say? Last words?
Yeah, I bet we could do both of them.
Yeah, it'd be like so and so's last meal was this, his last words was this, or her.
Yeah. We can do that.
Well, y'all, we haven't done a good long cryptid in a while.
This is semi underground.
Yeah, we haven't done cryptid in a while. I mean, I can reach out to somebody if I want someone.
Yeah,
always.
I love that. So Southern, you guys sound like you're underground. That's true.
Yeah, Flo. We usually extend olive branches to Twitch and Kick, but to really get the full experience, follow us somewhere else just so you get notified when we go live, like Rumble, YouTube, Twitter.
I'm waiting for him to say
Facebook. Yeah, I forget we're on Facebook.
Well, that's relatively new.
Yep. But we're coming with you some content, new content. We might be revising some old content. It's all good. It's all gravy. And we'll be back here at 7 p.m. Eastern time next Friday.
Now you're just being crazy.
Come hell or high water.
Hell or high water.
Yeah. And do you guys have anything else before we sign off?
I will not be here
We're
next
trying to get
Friday.
some guests. We've got a psychic on the hook, so I'm gonna see. I think we've all been testing our psychic chops lately.
I think Tully's a psychic because today he brought up something that I hadn't thought about in years until the other day when I was getting water. Me and Mandy were sitting there before all that crazy stuff happened, telling old stories, and I told this story to her. And today, randomly, Tully's like, "Do you remember that time?" Blah blah blah. And this is like a obscure thing that I haven't thought about in years.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. So we'll get a psychic on, and we'll test our psychic chops.
Yeah.
Against the psychic.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. It's supposed to be -2 here Sunday.
Hey, it's supposed to be in the teens with the wind chill here on Monday. Y'all should really pray for me because you know
that's crazy in Mississippi,
especially on the coast.
I think I've gotten them to cold weather because the other day I was digging a hole in my front yard to fix a water leak in ball shorts and Crocs, and it was like 27 degrees outside.
The year after I moved down here, I got rid of every coat, jacket, and heavy sweater I had. I just bought my first sweater in 20 years.
Nice.
You know, it is lonely on Facebook land. I think a lot of people watch after. They have to be watching after the fact. Last time I went to Morgana's post, there's like 70 views or something on the video.
Yeah.
Or maybe people just don't comment. That happens a lot too. Like we get folks that come out of the woodwork. But I think a lot of people, and I'm this way, I'll watch somebody for months and maybe even years before I'll even say a word.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I actually don't comment at all.
It's because we're all so shy.
Yeah.
And I can vouch for that with Tully. I even told his story on a Bigfoot podcast one time, and he never commented. I didn't even know you were watching.
Yeah.
But we appreciate y'all coming along. If you stayed around this for long and this is your first time or you've not done it yet, go ahead, hit like and follow. Go and check out 4rbs.com, the number 4, the letter rbs.com.
If you're in need for some good honey.
Honey.
There it is.
Honey.
You still got time for Christmas. This makes a great Christmas gift for Granny. For Grampy.
And they also have a good sale going on, and they will stack our discount with their sale.
20% steep. Like this,
Yes.
you're not getting that with most sponsors. Like
No.
20%. It's not a high value product. Like you're not paying hundreds of dollars.
Right.
Yeah, Larry sounds like me. What I do is I turn on podcasts, and then I turn my video game down real low.
And to be clear, I'm not shitting on you not commenting, Larry. I know you're there. And I don't care if people don't comment, but I'm just saying, like, we encourage it. Like, if you feel a certain way about a certain topic that we're talking about, speak up. Like,
And if you
talk
want
to us.
And if you got topics you want us to cover, or you want to be a guest, or you want to have a topic that you feel passionate about, you want to talk about, email us.
Every sale comes with gator meat. Yeah.
Email us at witf@gmx.com.
Yeah, Morgana. I guess the only thing I think of is how politicians all began their political careers with meager finances, and somehow they all seem to end up being multimillionaires.
But yeah, Morgana, that's what she's wanting to do, a whole episode about.
I'm wanting to do a Saturday episode on that with no names, no part. I mean, yeah, names, yes, but not party specific. I want to show both sides because it is both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's throw fire. Let's do it.
You know, with gator meat, gator meat's fine, but you gotta trim every little bit of visible fat off of it because the fat's bitter.
I really, when we went to New Orleans, I really thought about becoming a gator hunter and wrestling gators.
Well, this lady, we actually have a gator farm. We actually have a gator farm down here. And sorry about that. So, all right, gator farm. And it has signs everywhere. They have like a little diner, and they tell you, do not leave your pets out. A woman tied her dog to that sign and tried to sue because a gator got her dog.
You know, Lando, we named the dog after Po' Boys. They put the remoulade sauce on the Po' Boys. That's what Remy's named after.
Oh, okay. I just want
I'm never going to think of Remy the same.
Well, yeah, a lot of people think it's after a gun, but we named him after remoulade.
He's smooth. He's smooth. Anyway,
so I think you would change your mind on the gator wrestling whenever you saw one of those 14-foot dinosaurs that eats people.
I've seen them. I've got a vendetta against these damn gators. One of them tried to snatch me up when I was a little kid. Don't forget, I grew up in the Glades, man.
But your father had the foresight to snatch you up.
So I'm going back and I'm hunting that exact gator down, and I'm whipping its ass.
It's probably still alive.
2026.
Vengeance against the gators. Yes,
I'll have gator tails for
That's
days.
adorable.
Yeah,
Is that Sunday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go to Walmart.
Walmart.
Yeah.
And you've got to go northwest tomorrow, so y'all be safe on the road.
I just try to go as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's in real time. Okay.
Yeah, she just posted it.
I didn't know. I thought you pulled up like an old picture.
No, my phone rang, and when I hit cancel, Facebook popped up, and that was what popped up.
I had the text waiting.
Yep. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight, and thank you for watching us, because we're watching you.